Part 22, the setup. Vaughn had been out late one night, cruising through the south side. The air was cold, the city quiet, but his mind was loud, always plotting, always alert. That's when he saw her. She was standing outside a corner store, hood up, phone in hand, looking like trouble and temptation rolled in one. Vaughn pulled up slow. "Where you headed?" he asked with that half smirk. She looked him over, smirked back. "Wherever you taking me." That night, they rode around, laughing, vibing, and talking like they'd known each other for years. But Vaughn's instincts were never off. He felt something was off in her tone, her eyes. Still, he played it cool. A few nights later, she told him about a quick lick, a guy with stacks of cash and no backup. Vaughn agreed. He'd done it before, and money was never enough. They pulled up to the spot. Vaughn masked up, gun in hand, ready. Everything went smooth, too smooth. As Vaughn came out the back door with the bag, shots rang out. He hit the ground. Pain tore through his side. The girl was gone. Tires screeched. Vaughn realized she set him up. Bleeding, crawling to safety, Vaughn barely survived. His crew found him hours later and rushed him to a safe house. When he finally came to, his face was calm, but his heart cold. "She played me," he muttered, lighting a cigarette. "Now it's payback time." The streets knew what that meant. Someone had crossed King Vaughn, and when that happened, revenge wasn't a maybe, it was a promise. Part 23, the interrogation. Just days after Vaughn dropped his latest track, one that painted scenes too close to real life, the feds came knocking. They didn't ask, they showed up. Suits, badges, and unmarked cars swarmed his block. Vaughn was taken in, calm as ever, his chain still glinting under the harsh lights of the interrogation room. The agents spread out photos on the table, bodies, mug shots, shell casings, timestamps. They talked about evidence, ballistics, and connections to O-Block. Vaughn just sat there, silent, not a word, just that steady stare, the same look that had made enemies nervous on the streets. One Fed slammed his fist on the table. "You think this is a game, Vaughn? You're not untouchable." Vaughn leaned back, eyes steady. "Why am I still sitting here?" Minutes later, his lawyer walked in. Sharp suit, cold tone. "My client's done talking." Vaughn stood up without another word, walking out like nothing happened. The lawyer followed close behind, muttering under his breath, "You gotta play it smart now. They're watching. They won't stop until you slip." Vaughn just nodded, a faint grin on his face. "Then I won't slip." As the door closed behind him, he pulled his hoodie up, the city lights flickering outside. The streets were waiting, and so were the feds. But Vaughn, he was already 10 steps ahead. Days after Durk's recovery, Durk drops another diss track called Dead Bitches, and Vaughn had to respond. Dead Bitches. FBG Durk came back swinging with another track, this one colder than the rest. Dead Bitches hit the streets like gasoline on fire. In the song, he crossed a line no one thought he'd touch, dissing the fallen O-Block soldiers. Said I wouldn't gon' diss the dead, and okay, I did it, but nigga, fuck T-Roy and OD, them dead bitches. The hood froze. Everybody heard it. Everybody talked about it. Vaughn got pulled into an interview the same day, reporters pressing him on Durk's words. Vaughn leaned back, calm, but his eyes sharp. "Look, that nigga made a song, but it was too disrespectful to even finish. Some things you don't play with." The message was clear. Lines had been crossed, and disrespect like that don't get overlooked. A week later, Chicago streets made the decision for him. FBG Durk got caught lacking. Late night, no heavy security. Shots rang out. His body dropped, hit multiple times. News spread fast. For O-Block, it wasn't just retaliation, it was justice. Back on the block, Vaughn stood with the ones who made it happen. No cameras, no interviews, just family. He handed out fresh O-Block chains to J Money, Lil Boo, Sherroid, and Lil Steve. "This right here," Vaughn said, holding the shine up to the light, "ain't just jewelry. It's loyalty, it's blood. Y'all did what needed to be done." The block cheered, the energy was heavy, and everybody knew O-Block had sent its message loud and clear. 2 days later, the shooting was having the city buzzing. News reports first called FBG Durk dead, But hours later, updates came in. He wasn't gone. He was laid up in the hospital, barely breathing, but alive. The streets started whispering, Durk ain't just wounded, he coming back harder. The feds moved fast. Unmarked cars parked heavy on O-Block. Surveillance teams circling like vultures. They didn't have names yet, but they had suspicions. And Von's name was always at the top of their list. D-Lo came through the trap that night, paranoid. They watching every move, Von. You can see it in their eyes. They think you called the hit. Von stayed cool, rolling up like nothing had changed. That nigga Durk, he know why it happened. Ain't no mystery. But the feds, they don't know S unless we tell them. And we don't fold. The block was tense, energy heavy. Everybody knew Durk surviving meant the war wasn't finished. If anything, it was just heating up. Part 27, Silence of the Block. The city was quiet after the smoke cleared. FBG Durk was gone, the news ran wild, and the streets whispered names. O-Block. The feds moved fast. They picked up every name connected to Von. J Money, Lil Boo, Sherroid, and Lil Steve. Raids hit the block before sunrise, sirens lighting up the night like fireworks. Each of them got hauled into interrogation rooms one by one. The agents tried everything: threats, deals, fake sympathy, photos of the scene, gun casings, surveillance shots. But the O-Block code ran deeper than fear. Not one of them said a word. No snitching, no talking, just blank stares and cold silence. After 6 months inside, with no real evidence, no weapon, no witness, no statement, the feds had to let them go, but not free. They were still under the radar. Every move watched, every phone tapped. When they came home, Von was waiting. He stood on the block with D-Lo and Muwop, the crew standing strong like nothing had changed. Chains gleamed in the sunlight, loyalty sealed in silence. Von dapped them up one by one. "Y'all did that," he said quietly. "Real ones don't fold." Back in the streets, talk spread fast. Fans of FBG Durk flooded the internet, waiting, hoping, praying that maybe he'd survived, maybe he'd drop a track, a message, something. But nothing came, just silence. And on O-Block, silence meant only one thing: mission complete. Part 28, The Duck Situation. The city froze when the news broke. Carlton Weekly, a.k.a. FBG Duck, gunned down in broad daylight. Gold Coast, the rich side of Chicago, that wasn't normal. Multiple shooters, automatic fire, getaway cars. The hit looked military. It looked personal. By sundown, rumors were already flying. The ops whispered OTF had something to do with it. The feds whispered the same, but no one had proof. The streets, they didn't need proof. They knew. Duck died in the hospital that night. Twitter went crazy. IG Lives lit up. Blogs wrote headlines like "Chicago Rap War hits rich neighborhoods." Meanwhile, Von played it cool. No posts, no subliminals, just silence. But behind the scenes, O-Block celebrated. Von took the crew to Icebox, the famous jewelry store. He copped fresh O-Block chains. Muwop got one. DQ, D-Lo, the whole squad shining. Each chain wasn't just jewelry, it was a medal, a silent award for surviving the war. In the store, Von locked eyes with NBA YoungBoy. Both camps, deep, tension heavy. But Von smirked, turned back to the counter, and let it slide. Not today. He wasn't going to risk it in a public spot with cameras everywhere. The feds, though, they were watching every move. They connected Duck's murder to rising tensions between OTF and FBG. They knew Von was celebrating, but celebrating what? That was the missing piece. Evidence was thin, and the shooters moved too clean. Still, they wrote Von's name at the top of their board in red ink. Suspect, high priority, armed and dangerous. Von walked out of Icebox with his crew, chains swinging, smiling like nothing happened. To the world, it was just another flex. To the streets, it was a message. To the feds, it was fuel. The storm wasn't over. It was just beginning. Part 29, Von versus YoungBoy. A week after Duck's death, Von couldn't sit quiet no more. He hopped on IG Live, cigarette in one hand, O-Block chain on his neck, eyes sharp like he was daring someone to check him. He said, Y'all favorite rappers, they cap. He smirked into the camera, talking that gangster shit in their raps, but when it's time, they hiding. They not like that, not for real. Everybody knew who he was talking about. NBA YoungBoy. Vaughn didn't even have to say the name. The comments lit up. NBA ain't like that. Vaughn on his ass. OTF versus 4KT. YoungBoy saw it quick. He didn't let it slide. He fired back online, laughing, posting subliminals, then talking reckless about how Vaughn's ex, Asian Doll, was with him now. YoungBoy made it personal. Vaughn caught it in the studio. He just leaned back, grinned, and said to the camera, "YoungBoy, man, his music all cap, all stories. He not really like that. Ask the streets. They know who out here for real." The beef caught fire. Blogs ran it up. YouTube channels broke down every post, every lyric, every IG live.